What's up? KJ here, kicking it with the fam. Triple J, Little KJ, and Poppy Chulo Charlie. And we're coming live from KJ Studios. So sit back, relax, and listen to us as we come together as family and bring you the real hype. Drip, drip, drop. Oh yeah, what's going on, y'all? Here we go. Time to get hype with the family. Got Triple J, Lil KJ, and Poppy Chulo Charlie here. And so we got a special Halloween family get together. Super scary. Oh. So, who's going first? Who dares to tell their story first? So what's going on, everybody? KJ here with the fam. We decided to get together and do a little family stuff, a special Halloween edition. And we're going to have Mr. Poppy Chulo Charlie start off with his scary story from KJ Studios.
This story takes place deep in the woods. In a cabin, there was a boy named Matthew alone. He was chilling around a campfire outside. It was eventually midnight, so he thought it was time to go in the cabin. Matthew went into the cabin and watched some TV. Then he decided it was time to go to bed since it was 2:55 a.m. He brushed his teeth and got in bed. He closed his eyes, and after 10 minutes, he couldn't fall asleep. He just laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting to eventually fall asleep. Matthew heard noises inside the cabin. The floorboards were creaking and some animals were messing around with a bush outside. Till the animals went silent randomly. "Can I finally get some sleep?" Matthew said. He closed his eyes and then he heard a paper crumble. He wondered what made that noise. He looked at his door and saw a paper. He was wondering where it came from. He noticed the note came from under the door. He thought to himself, "Should I get out of bed? Should I get the note?" As he was worried in fear. He finally decided to check it out. He got out of bed frantically and grabbed the note. He got back in bed quickly and hid under the covers. The note was in messy handwriting and had a somewhat liquid that stained the note. It looked like it was equivalent to blood. The note read out, "Get out, he is coming." And then he heard a deep whisper from under his bed.
What did a deep voice say, Charlie? Come to me, Charlie. Come to the sound of my voice.
The deep voice said, "I am here." Then he was never heard ever again.
That's scary, Charlie.
It's all right.
I hope. It's pretty scary, huh? What do you guys think?
It's scary to think about it, yes.
Chapter 1
Chapter
by
1.
Poppy Chulo Charlie. Who's next?
Definitely not me. I gotta go last.
Now with Chapter 2, Little KJ.
Don't go in the attic. One morning in the city, New York, on October 31st, a girl named Mina Hampton was stayed missing.
There was no signs of her anywhere, but all of her belongings were still at her house. Her friends didn't know where she could be, and no one knew anything. She was just gone. To begin the story, let's talk about Mina. Mina was a 16-year-old high school student in her junior year. She had tons of friends and was very popular and happy. Growing up, she went out a lot, and her favorite place was the attic. In the attic, she had a setup and would bring a bunch of friends over, and they would just stay up there the whole time and have a bunch of fun. But her brother didn't like the attic. Unlike Mina, he was terrified of the attic, and he wouldn't even go near it. He would say crazy stuff like, "There's a person up there, and they're watching." Just crazy, creepy stuff. One thing that really creeped Mina out was when her brother said, "They told me not to go up there."
Don't go up there.
Fast forward to October 31st, people were out, which made it harder to even get close to finding out what happened to Mina. The kids were sure spooked about it. In fact, kids stayed in their house because their parents didn't want them out. A year later, on the same day Mina went missing, it was time to get Halloween started again.
You're mine.
When Mina's brother was told the Halloween decorations, to get the decorations,
I'm here waiting for you.
Mina's brother headed up to get the decorations, but that's the one thing, they were in the attic. He wasn't scared this time. He was more sad. Since that was Mina's favorite spot, it reminded him of her missing. He climbed up there to get the decorations. But once he got up there, it was so stinky. It smelled like someone was dead. Disturbed by the smell, he went up in the attic and saw a sick-looking skeleton. This skeleton made him sick to his stomach. It was cool, but it was gross. And it still smelled nasty in the attic. That's when he smelled it. That's where the smell was coming from. He looked at it more carefully. Rotten to its bones. That was Mina. Him in shock, he screamed, seeing his dead sister. Her bones, old, rotten, smelly, and her hair.
Oh, snap!
The lights went out, and he was never seen again. Every Halloween, the story goes around about Mina and what happened to her. And now whoever moves into that house hears the whispers of the kids saying, "Don't go in the attic."
Don't go in the attic. That was good.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I like the voice. What do you think, Charlie?
I said hers was better than mine.
I like both of them.
I said hers was better than mine, but you did great.
Okay. All right. I think Triple J is up next. Triple J, Triple J.
All right. All right. This is more of a first-person story of a Marine. I joined the Marines when I was 17. Luckily, my parents signed a waiver so I can join. It's been about a year, and I was a good enough shot, and I was good enough of a soldier or a private to get an advanced class. So for this advanced class, you go to a hidden base that you don't even know where it's at. You don't even have your cell phone. They take it away until you're done. You're there for about 9 months, but actually they don't tell you what time it is. They don't let you know what date it is, and you don't even know what day of the week it is. I'm put with 3 other people. These 3 other guys are very weird, as in kind of psychotic, if I'm gonna be honest. I was the outsider. I was very nice, very respectful, and not really a Marine to them. They thought I was just some. They said I should have just joined the Air Force because how weak I am or how respectful I am of others. So I just slept in my own room. They'd prank me a lot. Turn the heater off so the showers are very cold. They also put a lot of poop in my pillow and under the pillow.
Take that shit, Marine. Take that poop.
So one day they sent us out. We're sent out to a forest, more of about a 5-mile forest. So my squad or roommates, I guess, they abandoned me. They abandoned me alone, and it's a 5-mile forest.
Leave them behind.
I only had a training rifle. I only had blanks inside of it. So if we saw anything or thought we saw anything, if we fired at it, we wouldn't actually kill it, just in case it was one of our men. I lose my bag. I'm assuming one of my men or squad took it. When they left me, it was around, I want to say about midnight probably, because it was very dark at the time. Probably around 3 hours later, I found a trail. This trail leads to like a cabin sort of thing. It's very small. It was more of a shed. When I went inside of it, there was a bed, but it was very bad. It was very dirty. There wasn't much to it. I mean, there was a bunch of mold growing around the walls. I slept in it for 3 days. I went missing, of course, but for me, I didn't know what time it was, and I just slept a lot. I was very embarrassed, but at the same time, I was very scared because I didn't know exactly where I was at the time. My bag that the other Marines took had my compass in it. And then I just went to sleep when I realized that all my stuff, my survival, I had no food, I had no water. So I just slept. I want to say after 3 days, maybe, or at least sleeping around 3 times, I decided to head probably around north, or what I thought was north at the time, because that's where they told us to head if we got lost. The thing is that this trail was different than the others. It had actual gardening around it. It had flowers. It had everything pretty much normal looking to civilians. The cabin was built out of bricks, which is weird because cabins are usually built out of wood. So on the inside it was wood, and on the outside it was brick. The inside was moldy and didn't really smell right. It didn't smell like anything dead, but also smelled a little bit like fire. So in a way, I guess it smelled like hell. But after I guess maybe a few days, because I don't know what time it was, how long I was there, or what week, or I was heading north. I get lost. Well, I was already lost, but I get lost of which direction I was going because the trees were just too high to even see the sky. I had to sleep one day in the woods, or what I think is one day. I start seeing things, hearing things. More of screams. The things I seen were other Marines walking around without any clothes on, and always led to them disappearing after chasing them after a while. After a while of seeing too many people, I went insane for a little bit. I didn't know what to do.
Where am I?
I couldn't kill myself because
Where are you?
I only had blanks.
I want to be here.
I became so thirsty and hungry that I decided to just try to hang myself with the tree branch. But of course, it breaks. So after my neck was sore for a very long time, I want to say about maybe a whole 2 days maybe, I finally find what looks like my base or my little bunker area room thing. But everyone's acting weird. It's like everyone acts like they've all seen something, like very horrifying, as if they've seen what I've seen before. All of the guys who would harass me are now in fear. It's like they all saw what I saw, except they weren't able to handle it.
I was now a ghost.
The thing is, the radio didn't work, none of the lights work, and all the bathrooms just didn't work. The sink didn't work, the toilets didn't work. It became very smelly.
What is that smell?
It had the same smell, like something dead and something on fire at the same time. Whenever I walked away, or walked around anywhere actually, people would just stare at me very weirdly. Eyes wide open but blank-faced. My NCO, he'd always yell at me usually, but this time he just stared at me whenever I talked to him. I'd always ask him questions, like when are we leaving, or what's going on, and he'd just stare at me weirdly. I didn't know his name. I didn't know his name. I didn't know his name, and so I couldn't ask him how he's doing. No one ever told anyone about their personal life. So it was kind of normal, but at the same time, it was very unnormal to see that. Usually a Marine's very loud, very jarhead-like, very, very meathead. Always boasting of who's the best or who's the strongest or who's the best Marine. But everyone was different. After a few days, I hear walking. I hear walking nearby, and it's nighttime. Or at least I think it's nighttime. I hear walking, I hear multiple men that sounded a lot like my own that I slept near. After I heard them, I realized that I was in a room full of nothing. The bunks were all clear. No one was on them anymore. After the men moved in, they saw me and they were wondering where I was.
Where is he?
They said I've been missing for 4 weeks. I guess where I went is a time difference. It's what felt like I've been gone for maybe a week, but they said I was gone for 4 weeks. They all said that I had bloodshot eyes, messed up hair.
Yo, man, what happened? Where you been?
They all made fun of me, but at the same time, they were showing
What's up with your eyes?
care with a lot of confusion.
Where you been, Marine?
They were wondering what this place was, and they said it looks exactly like ours. And I was very confused because I didn't really break down mentally, but I also kind of, at the same time, I got stronger because I didn't know where I was. They didn't even know where I was. So that was the very scary part. After that, they took me back to the real base, and they had me checked out. Turns out that the food that we had the night before, it was drugged. A mix of, well, everything pretty much. Drove me insane.
Who was texting me? I don't have a phone.
But everyone else said that if food was fine. But if I was on drugs and there was the exact same base that they even saw, was I really drugged, or was it just the effects of the horrors and the anxiety and the depression that was going through the mind of me? I came back different, but but I also came back a little stronger mentally.
Oh, wow, Marines. So were you a ghost when you came back?
No.
You were just smarter and stronger?
Yeah. Good ending's always good.
Good ending. Just because it's Halloween and scary doesn't mean it has to be a bad ending. What do you think, guys?
I think it was okay. It was pretty bad, but it was pretty good at the same time.
I like it.
I was thinking about how was it the same, like the two bases? That was one of them from a different universe or something?
You mean dimension? Yes.
Yeah.
It was like a portal.
Or was it just
Ooh,
It's
I
like a-
it.
Wall barrier that the other base, it's like an opposite.
I thought when you were in the woods, you were seeing like dead Marines.
Well, not me, but the Marine himself
But the Marine saw it.
saw people or things or whatever he saw.
Oh, so it's mysterious.
It's mysterious.
Don't they say the unknown is scariest?
It
than
is
the
very
known?
scary. And speaking of the unknown, chapter 4, the final chapter.
That's right. The best one, actually, probably. Most likely.
Probably not.
Probably.
But let's get into it. Chop City 702. Our story takes place in the City of Lights, glamour, gambling, and of course, food. Las Vegas, the mecca of tourist travel. The mecca of tourist travel in the United States. And if anyone has ever visited Sin City, they know that the food industry is the lifeblood that brings travelers from across the world to taste the food, from exotic down to a simple hamburger. But Las Vegas was also known for homelessness, human trafficking, a city underneath the city, which people felt plagued the reputation of the city, especially from the wealthiest and the social elites. Mr. Chop recently moved to Las Vegas and was known throughout the culinary world for pushing taste and palate stimulation to its limits. Mr. Chop, he has that boy next door look, charming with charisma, a look that attracted all personalities to him. He was well known in the community and quickly rose to the top of the food scene upon opening his first food establishment on the Las Vegas Strip. It was called Chop City 702. Chop City 702 was considered the creme de la creme of exotic meats, quickly surpassing bizarre meats in any Gordon Ramsay establishment. It was highly sought out. It was highlighted by every food critic as the best place for his specialty dish called beef chop. Word was out, and reservations were required months in advance to experience the exotic tastes of beef chop or any of the menu items offered. Once, Mr. Chop was asked, "Where do you get your beef?" With a grimace, he smiled. "If I told you, I'd have to kill you." The reporter, Jay Wilkerby for Channel 13, Unlucky 13, felt motivated and inclined to uncover this mystery because a good mystery, solving the biggest secrets, always made you famous. Mr. Chop was involved with the community and always embraced by those who looked for his support as a philanthropist. The wealthy who donate usually for a tax write-off, sometimes because they really cared. But he was wealthy, brilliant, just like Poppy, Chulo, Charlie, brilliant, like little KJ and Triple J. And everybody loved him. In the public, with the smile of an angel, he could do no wrong. But in the darkness, in the night, in the depths of the tunnels, underneath the lights of a city, he preyed on the weak, those nobody would miss. You know, the perfect ingredients for his beef chop. One dark and cold Las Vegas evening, Mr. Chop made his way down into the tunnels for the hunt. Little did he know, Jay Wilkerby had been curious and had been following him. But this was the first time he had followed Mr. Chop on this late Friday evening. Yes, Friday the 13th. And Channel 13 would be the double bad luck moment in time. 13 and 13. But he followed Mr. Chop on this late Friday evening. He followed him. And it would be that time that would be forever remembered in those dark tunnels as a night of bad luck. You see, even if Las Vegas Metro, the police, wanted to believe the stories of those who lived underneath there, they would never investigate, because this was the jurisdiction of the Social Support Response Team, or the nonprofit's mission, who was to help those in the tunnels. They were the ones who took charge down there, were those who needed help, got help, or were encouraged to leave. But Jay Wilkerby, yes, Jay Wilkerby, he was in for the biggest story of his life. You see, Jay Wilkerby did not have the resources Mr. Chop had. Mr. Chop used cameras and night vision goggles, and he had a secret cult, a cult of the wealthiest in Las Vegas, to help plan take down this nosy reporter. You see, Chop City was made up of those who desired to push the limits, a desire to experience what only the wealthiest could experience. This included pleasures of the flesh, as well as consumption of the flesh, and anything taboo to normal society. They lusted for the taste of beef chop, which was 80% human, with 20% Wagyu beef. And tonight, yes, tonight, Jay Wilkerson was scheduled to be on the menu. The menu only offered to the wealthiest of the wealthy, but Jay was to be presented for sampling for the Channel 13 fine dining exclusive. He would be consumed by his co-workers and boss. Jay followed Mr. Chop into the tunnels, and on this particular tunnel, it was one that required Jay to, lean down a little bit, because if he stood up straight, he would bang his head, and with all the clutter on the ground, it forced him to lean forward and focus on not hitting his head and tripping. This was the perfect setup for Mr. Chop. And about 25 feet into the tunnel, Jay Wilkerby felt the sting of a tranquilizer dart, stumbled a bit, then fell to the ground. Jay opened his eyes, and while he regained some focus, he could feel the cold of the room, the chill from the steel table, and a hum from someone. The hum was Mr. Chop, dressed in his normal blue coveralls, the same ones Michael Myers would be found in. He was waiting for Jay Wilkerby to wake up. "What are you doing?" screamed Jay. What are you doing? You let me go. Why am I tied up? What are you doing? Only to be met with a deep chuckle. I told you. If I told you where I got my beef, I'd have to kill you. You didn't listen. And now you will get your answer. Answer to all your questions, Mr. Nosy Newsman. But the best part, your boss, your friends, your GM will be dining on your flesh tonight. Jay Wilkerby pleaded, please, no, I have a family. No, don't. I promise I won't tell nobody if you let me go, I promise. But all the begging, no matter how bad he pleaded, it only motivated Mr. Chop to slowly and delicately butcher Jay Wilkerby. You see, he had an assortment of knives, saws, drills. But the worst one that Jay really caught, the one that really caught Jay's eyes, was the meat grinder, in which Mr. Chop would start with his hands and grind it up while he was still alive, because he wanted to make sure that he stayed awake while he was being butchered. Cutting, hacking, grinding him alive piece by piece. Mr. Chop, he laughed, he hummed as Jay faded away. Later that night, music in the background, drinking, laughing, celebrating. Beef chop was served to the GM of Channel 13 and guests. Mr. Chop joined them, his normal charismatic self, as they drank, they laughed, they shared stories, and it was lauded how delicious the beef chop was. They also inquired about the fried skin they were eating. And Mr. Chop noted it was a specially made dish for tonight. And I call it salted J skin with mango salsa. The GM looked at Mr. Chop and said, "You're going to have to share the recipe, even if I die getting it." Mr. Chop smiled. He giggled. You know that smile? The deep, deep, most evil smirk, but the eyes tell it all, that there's nothing in there. And he said, "As you wish." What do you think?
That was the best one.
Yeah, that was the best one.
Chop.
Cannibalism.
The
Chop City.
it was good. It
702.
just the yeah. It took you out of the moment. It took you out of the
It made it feel like,
not bad,
oh,
but more of just a little like oh, it's a story.
like
Just-
that?
No, yeah, it just was like, dude, like, come on, it was going good.
Like, bruh.
I like it though.
It's good. It brought you out of the. It took you out of the.
I say mine was the worst.
Took you out of the moment.
Listen, guys.
No one had a bad
I think
one.
the best part about this is that they were all good,
Yeah.
because we all got to come together as a family and do something kind of fun.
Well, I was gonna do something more deeper.
Well, dude, this ain't the first one.
No, I know. I'm just saying I was gonna do something more deeper, but involving us
Okay, well, do something deeper and darker.
next time.
Like, bring it. Bring it.
Well, it's gonna be dark.
No, bring it.
It's gonna be dark.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little.
Oh,
It's gonna make you think, is Jesse okay?
Yeah,
But really, it just
that's what I want. What do you think, Charlie?
Cannibalism.
we'll do it again.
Cannibalism, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a combination of what was that movie I saw?
When Mr. Chop said, you're gonna die if you find out, then I knew it was right away. It was gonna be like cannibalism.
Yeah, if I told you I'd have to kill you.
Yeah.
Me and Jesse already knew because we kind of.
You guys already saw my story and read it?
No,
Remember? You don't remember?
No.
we talked about
We
it.
talked about it.
We
before.
talked about it.
Did I talk about it with
We
you
talked
guys?
about it in
You
the car
had
with
that
Barry.
same idea. You kind of.
Actually,
Oh,
you
yeah.
talked to us about it. Actually,
Well, I said because I didn't feel well after Heart Attack Grill.
Yeah.
I was like, what if the hamburger meat was just made out of
homeless people.
Yeah.
Out of homeless people, right?
That's why me and Jesse were looking.
Just to
at it.
save money from COVID losses.
Yeah, mine will be a little.
I've never got sick like I've been for 2 weeks almost.
Probably. I've been having stomach
Yeah.
issues ever since.
All right. Well, from our family to yours, we appreciate those who tuned in and enjoyed a little moment of us doing some family stuff together versus my normal whatever it is I do, whether it's venting or food review or something positive. But this is coming live at a KJ Studios.
Mine will be better next time.
Right? So you guys all say a word of, say something to the fans out there who may be listening. Say, something positive, and we'll call it the night,
All I have that's going to be positive is that definitely next time, hopefully recently, so I don't forget, I'll write it down, is mine will be a little more deeper. Not a little, a lot deeper and darker. It'll definitely make you feel a little sick.
Okay. Well, it looks like the kids are all shy, so...
No, I'll say something.
Go ahead, Charlie.
All I have to say is just believe.
Believe. I like that. I guess what I would say is that it's kind of a blessing for the four of us to sit together and do this and to know you're all excited about doing this,
I was the one that was mostly excited.
Yeah, we were all fired up, I think. You know what I mean? You were just really proactive. Jesse really did good. Just throwing it off the cuff, off the top of his head. I really liked Kata's little, and they called his name in the attic. And I like Chop City.
I didn't know I could make it dark. I was going to make it darker. But when you were playing all those noises, well, hopefully not next time we don't. But next time we'll just do it.
Like tacos, so.
Yeah.
Here's a scary one.
And on that, we're done.
See you later, pals.
Adios.
Bye-bye.